Hello and welcome back to The Good, the Bad and the Stupid. It's Friday the 25th of October. The weekend is finally here and you can forget about your boring old job and go out and get drunk all weekend or do whatever it is that excites you or entertains you. Just don't get one of those boring old farts that washes their car or bloody does the garden or takes the garden rubbish down to the tip. Forget about that. Just do that when you have a day off sick. Don't do that on your fucking own days off. That's a ridiculous idea. What you could do is get up tomorrow morning and watch England versus New Zealand in the Rugby World Cup semi-finals. I think they kick off about 7:30. Or you can stay up all night if you're that way inclined. Don't go to bed tonight and then watch that in the morning. That'll top your night right off. I'll be looking forward to that. I don't know what the hell goes on, but I'm going to watch it and it should be quite exciting. I wish I was going out all night tonight. Unfortunately, I'm going to have to just fucking get up and watch it. So, never mind. Maybe I'll go out tomorrow night and fucking let me hair down then. But then we're going to lose an hour, by the way, tomorrow night because the clocks are changing. Somebody told me today. I didn't even realise. I know it happens every year, but I didn't know it was tomorrow. I wasn't anticipating that. So we're going to lose an hour. I think it is. So the dark days are upon us. And it's Halloween and all that kind of stuff, isn't it? We got it all. It's raining. Jesus, but Halloween's all good though. That's all exciting. Everyone's getting the costumes and getting all. Some people are getting all a bit too overexcited. I think some people. There was a guy in the paper today who's dressed up like It's the Killer Clown, and he's walking around the shopping. What's it called? The supermarket. Dressed with the balloon and all the kids started crying, so some woman went up and burst his balloon and told him off, and he took his mask off and went, I'm only trying to have a laugh, and all the kids were all crying and stuff. So it reminded me of when I went to my aunt's wedding I was a baby. I mean, it's funny when I look back at the picture of this wedding because I remember it, but when you look at the picture, I'm like 5, I think, or even less than that, in this like suit and everything in the wedding photo. I think, how do I remember stuff in that little body or in that little head? How do I remember, I can see, I obviously remember what he was seeing and all that kind of stuff, but it's really strange. Anyway, there was a guy who had this mask on that was the drummer in a band. They had like fucking crazy band to have ordered. They all had scary masks on. Maybe the wedding was at Halloween, I don't know. But anyway, he came over to me and I burst out crying and it shit the life out of me, put it that way. And I don't know, people had to sort of really console me. I wasn't fucking feeling it at all. This guy really scared me. And that mask that this guy's got in the shop, it reminded me of it. And I can imagine these kids now screaming and crying. They're going to remember that many, many years to come. And it's going to, in a way, I don't remember much else from before that, so in a way it's kind of helped me remember something from a very small age, because I can't remember fuck all else from that period. Anyway, what else was going on? I forgot about to talk about that. Pumpkin, this is funny and disgusting at the same time, but I'm going to say it because somebody had some pumpkins left outside their house, like they cut out the pumpkin and with the lid on and stuff like that, and some fucking tearaway sorry about this, but he's done a shit in the fucking pumpkin. They've somebody's got up in the morning and was going to put a candle in or something, and there was like a fucking turd in there, like a human turd, and they've run off, and you think, what the fuck? And then there's another guy here, they're calling him the vile pooligan, and he's done a number 2 in a Nandos box before his pal hurled it around a packed train and hit a woman returning from a funeral. But the fucking hell is wrong with people? Who the hell would think that was like entertaining, other than stupid young boys? I think they got a 12-month. They got nicked for it. Got a 12-month community order and a 280 hours of unpaid work. So that was an expensive fucking number 2. He'll remember that in many, many years to come. When he's 80, remember, he'll be looking back thinking, "Oh, I remember that time I fucking did a shit and threw it around the train, shit in a box and threw it around the train, and had to do all that fucking 280 hours of community work. He'll never forget it, you know what I mean? And for all the wrong reasons. Imagine like being with all your grandkids and all that, and thinking back on something like that. You couldn't imagine it, could you? So there you go. He's paid. He's paying the price for that one. It reminded me of a guy, a friend of mine actually, when we were kids, and he did something like that. I threw it and it stuck on the ceiling, and the vicar walked in. The vicar of the we was at a youth club, and the vicar walked in and was going, "What's going on in here?" And like it was a low ceiling of a kind of like 15, a building from the 1500s, like where everyone was really small. So it weren't too far from him, put it that way, and all those kids were cracking up laughing and stuff. And you can't wait. You kids, you're better off fucking waiting till you get into drink and whatever else, and avoiding all that kind of childish behaviour. Even though some people still do it even up till any old age. There's some fucking 80-year-olds who are probably still doing that kind of thing. Anyway, let's move on to something a little less, a bit more palatable. How about the woman who's got the world's largest collection of Womble memorabilia, and she's selling it. And she anybody even know who the Wombles are? The Wombles of Wimbledon, Wombling free. If you don't know who the Wombles are, come on, check yourself. These are the old. What's it called? What did they used to do, the Wombles? Did they used to clean it up or do something with the litter? I think they did. Anyway, she's got a large collection of Wombles. She was waiting for them to remake it, but nobody's remade it. So I'm surprised about that, to be honest. They were a bit of a British institution, weren't they? So they're going on sale. If you're into it, I don't even know whether they're worth much money, but I don't think they're going to be worth that much. I've had Wombles. I've had like a fucking box of them before, which I sold them. They weren't mine. I bought and sold them, but I don't think I made much money on them, put it that way. So don't think you're going to get rich selling Wombles. You have to fucking try something else. I think it's not a get rich quick scheme. What was it? Speaking of Wombles, Boris Johnson's called a general election. I think they've said that he wants to try and get one by the middle of December. What the fuck? That's not even that far away, and it's in the middle of December. Who the fuck wants to think about elections in the middle of when you're preparing for Christmas, or you got all your Christmas holidays and your Christmas work dues and all that shit going on? You're trying to have a good time, if anything, and then you got that shit going on. And then people are saying that, like, you take it for granted, actually. You don't really think about it like this, but all these old people that would want to vote, whether it's worth it or not, but they want to vote, and they won't be able to get out in some parts of the country, or won't be able to make it to the polling stations and whatever else. So it's a stupid thing to do, isn't it? And like I think the guy Baldrick out of Blackadder's come out and fucking said something on Twitter. It was quite funny, saying he doesn't fucking want a fucking election, fucking up his Christmas in the fucking middle of, and that's him saying this, by the way, in the middle of fucking December. Do it in January when everybody's like chilled out a bit. So I don't know what his reasons for doing it in December are, but anyway, so he's going for the Christmas #1, basically, and so maybe that means that potentially Cliff Richard could become Prime Minister, if you're going to look at it that way. But anyway, that's something not to look forward to. Fucking people banging on your door trying to get you to vote one way or the other. I think, we all know one way. They should make some way of voting online, so you don't have to bother going to the what's it called. But they should make everybody vote regardless. There should be, so everybody votes, because not everybody even bothers in anyway, do they? So like, they should make it so everybody has to vote, but give them an easy way of doing it on the computer or something. What else was I going to say? Okay, let's move on to something fucking a bit less boring than politics. 2 emotional support dogs and their owners were booted off a plane after the mutts began barking wildly in the cabin. Crew suspected the French bulldogs were pets rather than animals providing therapy. Well, fucking, they're both, aren't they? They're pets and unless they're not that belong to the people. I mean, what? So I don't get it. Basically, they're saying that people who've got dogs on their lap because they're scared of flying, they can take the dog because the dog is trained to be a therapeutic dog during your times of stress, I think. But they're saying that like that you can't do that if they're your pet. So these dogs have started going wild, and that the people have took them on the plane, trying to avoid putting them through the quarantine way and paying the extra money. They took them on as a therapy dog. Fucking weird. I mean, any dog can freak out on a plane, surely, and just lose it and start playing up. But they turned the plane around and went back and made these people get off. And it's kind of biting your nose off to spite your face a little bit, because remember how many hours extra did that add on to the journey? You might as well just let them fly. The dogs would have calmed down eventually. Just give them some of that fucking shit plane food. They'll eat it, and you know, all the passengers will like to give them a tickle and a stroke and everything. The dogs would have chilled out eventually. But saying that, they're saying here that they caused havoc. So how much havoc can a French bulldog bloody cause? There's been a lot of humans that cause a lot more havoc on a plane when they get pissed on that all that free booze. So yeah, I don't know. I think they're making a meal out of a mountain there, or whatever the saying is. Here's something that's worth more than a womble. The ancient coin that sold for yesterday for a record £3.72 million. 3.72 million, and it's an ancient Islamic coin, no bigger than a pound coin, and it's something that belonged to one of the successors of the Prophet Muhammad. Can you ever imagine finding that? You know what I mean? Here's a little tip for you, if you like. The 20p's, it's nothing like 3 million, I'm afraid, and it's nothing like Wombles. 20p's, if you find any 20p's without the date on it, there was 20p's that were printed without the date on it. I can't remember when it was, but if you ever find one, they're worth about 100 quid. So there you go. I searched all my chains. I still haven't found one, you know, and I'm looking, but there's some people who have found more than a couple. And there's 50p's as well that are worth. You have to Google online to see which 50p's are worth more. But some 50p's you can sell on eBay for about a tenner. So you've got to check which designs though. But anyway, if you find anything like that, I'll buy it off you. Anything that says mine of the Commander of the Faithful, I'll buy that one off you because it's worth 3.7 million quid. What was I going to say? Oh, there's a guy here. There's a knitter called Samuel Berksley, who's a real jet sweater. He basically goes on holiday to different landmarks and knits a jumper that looks like the landmark. And there's a picture here of him with a jumper with Stonehenge knitted on it, and another one with the Empire State Building, another one with Statue of Liberty, they've put there, Statue of Liberty, and Niagara Falls. And he sells the jumpers. People are buying them off him, and he's got 50,000 Facebook followers. What the fuck? I can't get a fucking follower for love nor money. And this guy's got 50,000 all following him because some reason knitting's in at the moment, isn't it? Knitting is like in for youngsters and stuff. There's a lot of fucking weird shit going on. I mean, you got woke people, you got fucking sensitive people, you got this kind of like, you know, people, the snowflake, all this kind of stuff. And now you've got like young, and I know that people are getting more into keeping fit than they are into going out and getting blotto, which is a good thing. But there's a lot of youngsters who are getting in and having knitting meetings and knitting parties and all that kind of stuff. If you're into that, then find your group near you, because apparently it's fucking popular at the moment. But anyway, he sells these jumpers, these knitted jumpers of all the landmarks and that. So if you've ever been anywhere and you want to wear a knitted jumper of it, and you know, like what's it called? What's the one in Paris? Eiffel Tower or whatever. Or just, if you want a knitted jumper of one of your favourite TV programmes, like the Wombles, maybe get one knitted, and he's your man. You'll find him. What's his page called? I don't know. Just fucking Google woolly landmarks or something like that. You'll find him. A police boss wants to get tough on wolf whistling and suggested victims to catcalling dial 999 and report it as a sex hate crime. It's not a sex hate crime, is it? That's a bit ridiculous. It's not even a sex crime, is it? It's not a hate crime, is it? It's like somebody saying you're attractive and whatever. Might be, you can call it crass or you can call it kind of unwanted attention, but I don't think it's worth a 999 call. Fucking hell. Have you ever tried to get through to some of these? Don't ever bother trying to ring 111 anyway, which is the lesser version of 999, because I think I called that once for some reason. I can't remember what it was, but I gave up in the end. You just couldn't get through. I ended up just saying, oh fuck it, it's not even worth it. I'll just write it off and let this crime or whatever it was I was reporting have to carry on. But if you might as well just go straight to 999 for anything, not for this silly stuff like somebody hasn't put, the bloke in the kebab shop won't put any tomato sauce on my fucking kebab or something like that, which some people do phone up about. But definitely not with the 111, just go straight to 999. But I don't know whether people should go for wolf whistling. Fucking, that's a bit ridiculous. I mean, just if it's people on the building site, just report people to the boss or something. Get the name of the tag or something on the scaffolding and say something that way. But it's not worth the police call, is it? Fucking hell. It's a bit over the top. Another thing, is this is worse than catcalling. This should be 999. Pub landlord James Blunt uses his own songs to scare drunks away from his boozer. It's quite clever. This is actually. He's a funny. I like James Blunt. He's a character, but he's got a pub which he owns in Chelsea somewhere, and around 5 minutes before closing time, he puts his song "You're Beautiful" or "Wise Men" on, so that everybody knows that it's time to drink up and get out of there. And he said it works every time. It clears the pub out. So there you go. He's using that's tongue in cheek, isn't it? But you couldn't call 999. So some drunk guy would say call 999 and say this guy is fucking, it's worse than it's a hate crime against my ears or something like that, he could say. But anyway, so it's the Duke and Duchess of Sussex. Oh no, that's not it. I thought that was the name of the pub then. What's the name of the pub? The Fox and Pheasant in Chelsea. So if you want to go down and listen to some James Blunt records, then that's the pub for you. Ayers Rock. Visitors to Ayers Rock in Australia will be banned from climbing the famous landmark as of from tomorrow. The site known by Uluru, the Aboriginal name, is sacred to the indigenous people who have to, and they've basically been trying to get people to ban them from climbing the Ayers Rock for many years. I remember, I'm talking about this because I've climbed Ayers Rock, and it's 1,140 feet tall, bigger than the Eiffel Tower. And I swear it's all you can see. If you've ever been, I'm sure some of you have been, but it's all you can see for miles when you are heading towards it. And I'm glad that you can not climb it, because it was pretty scary when I went up there. It was like, it's good when you get to the top, but when you're actually climbing up the rock face, it's dangerous as anything. You got like one metal chain, and like some people are coming down on the other side, some people are going up this side, but there's nothing else to hold on to. And if anybody falls and it's a sheer drop, I think people have fell off it to their death. It's really, really steep, and some people are fucking idiots up there, and they're shitting themselves, and they're bumping onto you, and like if they was to fall, they'd grab you and go with it. So for that reason, they should ban it. But anyway, we did it because you could, and it's one of them things that all the tourists are all doing it. Like, we're all sheep, aren't we? As tourists, we just sort of fucking, everyone's muscling each other out the way and that. And apparently now, because they're banning it, they've had a rush of tourists who have gone there because they all want to do it before the ban kicks in. And there's all like trail. You can see the marks where all the feet have all gone up it and stuff. So it's good and bad. It's good to do it, but at the same time, it's it's a sacred thing, but it's fucking dangerous. So you know, might have saved a few lives anyway. Kanye West is something that's quite funny. Kanye West has given another completely crackers interview to the radio, and he basically said that he's branded himself the greatest human artist in existence. So I think I mean, far fucking from it, if you ask me. Very far from the greatest human artist in existence. I mean, surely, I mean, that is the narcissism in its fucking exonified. What's the word? So, you know what I'm saying? He's like, what's the word? That's fucking up there with Donald Trump, that is, anyway, isn't it? He thinks he's the greatest human artist in existence. So, and he also says that he talks to God. And what's he say? He talks to God, who is hilarious, he said, and also he's banned his staff from premarital sex. So he's a fucking barrel of laughs to be around, isn't he? I wonder what his fucking nearest and dearest think. He's obviously not right, is he? Because he's had some mental issues. So I don't want to like dig him too much, but that's just fucking, you know, you're putting yourself fucking right out there for ridicule there with all those kind of sayings, isn't he? And what else he said? He wants to make amends with Drake, the other rapper, and he said he's going to leave his cell number. I'm not going to knock because he might be busy. I thought he was talking about God in that statement. So I'm not going to knock, but because he might be busy. But apparently him and God are good pals anyway. So anyway, so there you go. If you're a Kanye West fan, you're also a fan of the greatest human artist in existence. And I bet that new album he's got coming out is shit. So not my kind of music, to be honest. So I think, you know, maybe he's gonna have a niche group of people now. All this kind of, he's gonna have some kind of following who are religious and into shit music, who will fucking buy into that. But snake salesman, what's it called, snake oil salesman, if you ask me. A vagina museum has been granted a booze licence despite fears it will attract rowdy parties. Resident groups had warned any stag and hen doos ejected from the attraction would create a public nuisance. A vagina museum, I didn't even know there was one, but it's in Camden. So here's a good joke for you. What time's it open? Yeah, that's my cheesy one-liner I thought of earlier on. I didn't really deliver it very well, did I? But same time, if you want to go to have a drink at the Vagina Museum, then there you go. I don't know what else is the purpose of the museum? Is it like meant to be fun, kind of, or is it like, is it just there to inform people about the vagina? Surely it's a fun space, so you know, why not have a drink in there? The stag doos and the hen parties are going in there anyway, probably. And if they're going in there, they're pissed from other places, so it makes no difference where they drink it. And I spoke about this lady the other day, the ex-Babe Station model, who said she would be happy to accept a fan's £20,000 donation. There was a fan who's seriously ill, who I think he's got some conditions that he's not sure he's going to die, but he thinks he might. So he said he wants to give her 20 grand, somebody who's phoned up on Babe Station and had some good conversations with, and she's got back in touch and said she's happy to take the 20 grand. I fucking bet she is. And anyway, it's good of him, and why not? That's fucking good payday, you know. That's the best payday you're going to get out of doing Babe Station, that's for sure. So he's happy, she's very happy, and there's 20 grand there to go and spend on whatever she likes. So good for her. This guy is not so happy. Is a guy who was caught romping with a traffic cone at a busy train station. He walked free from court yesterday. I saw this, and they've took a photo of him and they've put it on fucking in all the newspapers. So he's not happy, Larry, because he's in court for trying to have sex with a traffic cone. Is that even illegal? He's like, you know, it's ridiculous and stupid, but It's like, you know, that's not a sex crime either, is it? It's not a hate crime. I think it's a public decency thing. But he said that his trousers fell down. He got caught. He was in a train station or somewhere, but he was basically trying to have sex with the cone, and he said that his trousers fell off, and I don't know how he said he ended up inside the cone, but he was drunk anyway. But imagine all his friends and family seeing that. Is just embarrassing, isn't it? Anyway, there you go. What's more embarrassing, calling yourself the greatest human artist in existence, or being caught trying to shag a traffic cone? Fucking not much in it to me, for me, to be honest with you. Right, I think I'm going to leave it there. Hopefully you've enjoyed it, and you're going to have a great weekend. Don't do anything I wouldn't do, or do lots of things that I wouldn't do, because I'm not doing much tonight, so you're going to have a better night than I am. Otherwise, have a great weekend, and I'll see you again next week. Goodbye. See you later. Bye.